99.8%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is the staggering net margin possible with the AI business model we're breaking down today. Because your primary overhead is literally just a $20 a month subscription to an AI tool like Claude, entrepreneurs are running this model at near total profit. We're talking about effectively hitting a $1,250 blended hourly rate. If you want to know exactly how they're doing it, well, you are definitely in the right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're cracking open the ultimate playbook for building a highly profitable B2B AI services business. And honestly, the absolute best part of all this, there is zero coding required. None. We're going to walk through a complete fact-checked blueprint extracted directly from the strategies of successful operators, taking you all the way from your very first client interaction to landing lucrative recurring retainers. Okay, let's dive right into our agenda. We are going to climb a very specific ladder today. We'll start with the foundational AI business blueprint, then look at how to get your foot in the door, fulfilling the assessment, scaling with smart upsells, building a managed AI agent service, and finally, landing those very first clients. Starting off with Section 1, the AI business blueprint. Look, before you even think about pitching a client or recommending some shiny new software, you've got to understand what business owners actually care about, which, spoiler alert, always comes down to return on investment. Every single AI implementation you suggest must pull one of these three ROI levers. It has to either increase effectiveness by making the client more money, increase efficiency by saving them time, or increase quality by improving their product or customer experience. So the golden rule here is, if a tool doesn't clearly hit one of these three levers, it simply is not worth doing for the client, no matter how cool the underlying tech might be. Which brings us to the absolutely crucial AOA framework. Step 1. Audit the manual process exactly as it's done today. Step 2, optimize it by cutting all the fat. And only then, Step 3, automate. You cannot successfully automate a broken process. Actually, scratch that, you can, but it'll be a complete disaster. Business owners who skip straight to automation usually fail because they never simplified the workflow first. We have to audit and optimize before we ever introduce the AI. Moving right along to Section 2, the foot in the door. So how on earth do we get these super busy business owners to actually sit down, listen, and, pay us? You start with a free 15-minute mini assessment as a tripwire offer. You ask them about their repetitive tasks, sure, but you always close with this specific magic wand question. If you had a magic wand, what's the one bottleneck you would eliminate today? It cuts right through the noise to their deepest pain point, which, let's be real, is almost always their chaotic inbox or some broken onboarding process. When you execute this correctly, this single question successfully converts 30 to 50% of prospects into paying for your full assessment. Okay, but what should that full assessment actually cost? There is a wild lesson in psychological anchoring here. Operators found that when they charged $200 or even $500, clients said yes, but then they completely ignored the final recommendations. It wasn't until the audit was priced at a full $1,000 that clients actually respected the process. Why? Because they finally had real financial skin in the game. Never charge less than $1,000 for your paid assessment. Now, to make that $1,000 price tag an absolute no-brainer, you drop the 5-hour guarantee. This is the core promise of the paid assessment. You are personally guaranteeing the client that you'll prescribe off-the-shelf SaaS tools that will reclaim at least 5 hours of their time every single week. If you can't find those 5 hours, they get 100% of their money back. It completely removes all the risk on their end. All right, on to Section 3, fulfilling the assessment. So, you've sold a $1,000 assessment with a really bold guarantee. Awesome. But how do you deliver massive value without spending 40 hours doing it? The secret is using AI itself to do the heavy lifting through this strictly timed chronological workflow. First, a 15-minute discovery call that you record on a tool like Fathom. Next, you spend 10 minutes feeding that call transcript right into Claude to research the best tools. Then another 10 minutes using Claude to generate a templated report featuring an effort versus impact matrix, which perfectly highlights their quick wins. Finally, a 10-minute review call with the client. Bam! That is exactly 45 minutes of work for $1,000. Right at the end of that 10-minute review call, you intentionally wrap things up with 3 strategic closing questions. We won't get bogged down in the exact scripts right now, but the crucial takeaway is that a confused mind doesn't buy. These questions are designed to transition the client super smoothly from looking at your awesome report to realizing they just don't have the time to implement it themselves, which naturally surfaces your next upsell. And that brings us to section 4, scaling with smart upsells. Getting paid $1,000 for 45 minutes of work is fantastic, but the real wealth of this model comes from what happens next. Once that assessment proves your undeniable value, this massive depth of back-end opportunities just opens right up. You can offer process redesign, build out simple automations using Zapier or Make, create knowledge systems, design custom Claude workflows, or even sell full implementations and ongoing monthly retainers. And here's a brilliant tactic. You can actually credit their initial $1,000 assessment fee toward one of these much larger back-end projects, just to get them right off the fence. If you're sitting there wondering who actually pays for this stuff, well, the numbers really speak for themselves. A wedding venue paid $1,500, literally just to automate a manual data duplication task in Asana that was eating up their project manager's time. A business broker dropped $3,000 for a custom knowledge system that took 500 buyer emails and reduced them down to just 10. These small businesses are more than willing to pay absolute premium prices for highly targeted efficiency. Up next, Section 5, Managed AI Agent Service. We have reached the climax of our ladder framework, where operators are building incredibly lucrative retainer businesses. Take Phil Goodwin, for example. He's a completely non-technical designer, yet his hybrid pricing model is just fascinating. He charges a one-time $1,500 setup fee for the infrastructure, plus a $250 monthly retainer per agent. Now, why the retainer? Because he found out the hard way that simply handing over the tech causes clients to abandon it in a few weeks. They just don't know how to talk to it. The retainer covers ongoing coaching combined with the digital employee, which guarantees they actually use it. To actually deliver that coaching without losing his mind, he uses what we call the group chat trick. Phil works with clients, like a one-man directional drilling company, by setting up a simple 3-way Telegram chat. Step 1, start the chat. Step 2, add yourself, the client, and their new AI agent. Step 3, you literally just sit there, watch what the client asks the agent, and coach them live on how to prompt it better. It's an ingenious, low-friction way to guarantee adoption. But how do you keep them happily paying that retainer month after month? Enter the value ledger. This is an automated tracker maintained by the AI itself. It logs every single task the agent completes and automatically assigns a specific time and dollar value saved to it. One of his clients got their weekly ledger and saw they had saved 63 hours and over $6,300 in week 1 alone. When you can hand a client that kind of hard, quantified proof, churn becomes virtually impossible. Finally, let's look at Section 6, landing your first clients. Okay, let's bring this explainer back down to earth for a second. You've got the blueprint, you understand the models, but how does someone actually start doing this today without a huge pile of startup capital or a massive social media audience? The secret is the guinea pig pitch. When Phil started out, he wasn't running fancy ads. He just went to close friends and business owners in his immediate network and offered to do completely free setups. He explicitly treated them as his guinea pigs, simply to get powerful, undeniable testimonials and case studies. Once you have those first testimonials, you can unleash these 7 zero-capital acquisition methods. You can host a local AI meetup, go old school and do some door knocking, send out LinkedIn DMs that lead with the prospect's pain, not your pitch. Do free mini audits for your wider network, build agency referral partnerships, host free AI office hours at local co-working spaces, and relentlessly post your wins publicly. Honestly, using just these straightforward methods, you can quickly fill your pipeline and hit your first $10,000 in revenue in 30 days. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. What is the intersection of what's highly lucrative and what you actually want to deliver? Because as we've seen today, whether it's doing rapid 45-minute audits or building out complex managed AI agents on a retainer, the opportunity here is just massive. But the most successful operators out there are the ones who intentionally choose the model they actually enjoy running. So the real question is, armed with this AI playbook, what kind of business are you going to build?